Hello, everyone. I am Nadine Ramos, and welcome back to Fiercely Blessed, powered by Blessed Bananas. This is our episode 2, and I am so excited to be here with none than the other, my beautiful sister, Taina Del Rio. Welcome back, darling. How are you today?
I'm great. Celebrating a birthday this week, so I'm pumped. How are you?
Yes, you should be pumped. You are hitting a milestone birthday. Welcome to the 40 Club. You look fabulous.
Thank you, sister.
I'm excited to be here with you again to share my story of how our childhood impacted who I am today as a businesswoman, leading a beauty brand, as a mother, as a sister, as a friend, and a wife, and all the many titles, right, that go with it. But again, I am so excited and blessed that I get to do this with you, my sister.
Yes, I'm excited too. This has been such a treat for me just to be a part of this and to go down memory lane is always
Yes.
awesome.
Why don't we get started? I know we talked last week a lot about mommy and how she impacted my life and your life. And I think that we didn't cover not everything, right? And there's so much more to share. And I think that we can get right into the nitty gritty with that during this episode. Um, and so let's dive deeper.
Let's do it. So, yes, like you said, we didn't really touch on everything, and our mother is a huge part of who we are today. She was our main example. And so, one thing I wanted to ask you was how did you observe her handling her stress as you were a teenager growing up and witnessing her? How did that affect you and influence how you handle stress during that time? And how do you handle stress today as a businesswoman and all the many titles that you listed?
Well, that was a lot of questions, so we're gonna probably have to go back to it. But I'll start with the first one that came to mind. You asked, how did mommy handle stress, and how did her handling her stress influence me today? Um, I would have to say that she didn't handle stress in a positive way. She actually handled it poorly, in my opinion, and from what I remembered, because one of the biggest stressful periods of our childhood is when we lost our sister Selena. Selena was only 15 years old. I was 13 years old. So then you must have been 10, 9, 10 years old at that time. And I mean, it was our first major loss in the family. And so watching mommy, pretty much, I saw her soul die when Selena died. Her joy was gone. Her mourning was long lasting, it felt. And that was the beginning of the turn of freedom for me that I experienced, because mommy handled the grieving a different type of way. Her grieving was not caring. She didn't care really about the decisions we were making, and me personally, because now I'm 13, I had a sense of freedom. She was saying yes to everything. So I remember going to house parties back then where we would have to pay $5 to go into someone's apartment and have a house party. And that's where I started drinking beer. I remember that vividly. That's when I started smoking cigarettes. I'm 13 years old. And all of this is because she lost sight that she had two younger daughters to look after. She was so deep in her mourning over the loss of our sister that this freedom came about. And so I feel that that was the first true experience that I led to, or experience of using substance, where it was that alcohol, the cigarettes, and then followed by smoking weed and all of that. Again, at the age of 13. So I saw mommy handle her stress poorly, and the result of that was now I experienced something so negative. And I'll never forget that.
We were mourning in our own way, right? So you were mourning, and your mourning led you to distract yourself with your friends, with the partying, with the drinking. Like, you don't know what to do with those emotions at 13 years old.
Yes, that's such a great point, and it's so true because at the end of the day, she wasn't even talking about her feelings. So how could we talk about our feelings? And you're right. I remember vividly. I didn't know how to feel. I remember feeling shocked. I remember feeling excited to have freedom. I remember feeling distracted. Like I didn't even think about what happened. The distraction of being out of the house, so I wasn't seeing mommy moping around all day. So that was it, and it's crazy because I carried that coping mechanism throughout my life to my adulthood. It was exactly that. It was just like this nasty chain around me of dealing with situations, hard situations, emotional situations, exactly the same way that I did when I was 13. So that's
Yeah.
crazy that you just highlighted that.
So, along with the bad that we adopt from our loved ones, parents, there are definitely good things. And to be where you are today, I know that there are things that you witnessed in our mother that led you to create the business that you have today. So, can you share a little bit about that?
Of course. So, yes, it wasn't a childhood that was filled with just negative. I think our first episode covered how loving she was and how much of a bright light she was for us and to so many who encountered her. And with that, I feel her impact on me and who I am today and the decisions that I've made to be where I am today comes from her strength and seeing her overcome the loss of her daughter, seeing her overcome the statistic of being a single parent, right? Like, yeah, she was that, but she did it so gracefully at the end. Once she overcame all her struggles with addiction, we witnessed that beauty, that strength, the mindset of we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Her faith was so impactful. I mean, when I came back to knowing who my God is in my life, that was all because of her and how she instilled faith into us as young girls. And so, so much good came from her that has brought me to where I am today. And I'll say this, even with mommy not having a career path, she loved us. She took care of her home, right? She was an amazing mother. And from there, it kind of like inspired me at a young age to know that that's not what I would want for my life, if that makes sense. Knowing that I wanted more, knowing I didn't want to stay in the projects. It was that experience that I needed to go through in order to realize I would have to work so much harder to beat the odds and get out. Being raised by a single mother, growing up in an addiction filled home, dealing with my own weaknesses, right? And knowing still with all my heart in the pit of my stomach that that is not where I would stay. And I attribute all that to her because it was all a learning experience. That experience drove me to want more.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Um, so, my next question is, how would you have wanted your childhood to be differently?
I How would I want it to be differently? I think I don't want to say the cliche. Like, yes, I know, and I'm so thankful for everything that we've went through and everything that we learned throughout our life journey in our childhood, especially. But I mean, do you ever think about maybe, yes, if we grew up in a house, if we grew up in the suburbs, what would that look like for us? I do, and then it's like I don't think I would be where I am, right? So it was to my last point of I had to go through all of those things, but I don't know. I think I always kind of had these fairy tales of what life would look like outside of the projects and the big home, the white picket fence, the swimming pool. All those things were a fairy tale to me. That was just like it didn't seem possible and that sounds so crazy to me because that's exactly what why I do what I do because I want to inspire the younger generation to know that you can too. You can get out, you can make a big difference in your life, you can change the course of your life, the trajectory of your life. But I guess it would be that you know the little fairy tales that would come to mind where it's like I wonder what life would be like outside of these project walls.
Absolutely. I
What
can
about
relate to
you?
that. I can definitely relate to that. I used to always imagine, being in corporate America. I would witness people on the trains, like those women that had their suits on, but then they had sneakers on because then when they went into the office, their shoes came on, like the high heel shoes. And I'm like, that's gonna be me one day, and just walking the streets of Upper East Side and wanting that for myself and knowing that, that wasn't my reality at the time, but I would create my own path and being excited about that. Those are the dreams that drive us. How did you feel about not having the luxuries of life? We grew up with very little, we couldn't splurge. I remember when I became an adult and I had my own family. Like I didn't look at prices in the grocery store. I just grabbed whatever I wanted and all the treats because we didn't get to do that. It was a luxury to have all the the name brand stuff and all the luxuries.
I remember fashion always being like my top goal. Like, oh my goodness, I wish I had every Jordan out there. I wish I had every Timberland boot. I wish I had every bamboo earring. Like, that was my era, right, in the 90s. And so I remember not having the financial resources to get all of that. And so we had to get creative. I don't know if you remember that, but we were forced to kind of create trends in order to look good. And I remember cutting up jeans into jean shorts during the summer months, right? Because we couldn't buy regular denim shorts. We had to make denim shorts back then. I remember throwing splashes of bleach on jeans, ripping them up, and it's so crazy because like now they cost $200 to buy a pair like that today. Meanwhile, we were doing that in makeshift freaking clothing in our home back in the 90s, and so I just always remember loving fashion so much and beauty. Like my hair always had to be done. With the little bit we had, we were blowing out each other's hair. We couldn't go to the salon, so we would do each other's hair, borrow clothes from our friends so that we could look good and have like different outfits. Um, and always wanting to have that luxury, right? But I feel like it pours into even today, like looking good makes you feel good, and I think that's what it was for us back then. I know for me, I always felt good when I looked good.
Well, I benefited from all your little projects because I would have, all the hand-me-downs, and I was looking fly because my older sister would lend me her clothes.
So cute. Yes, I remember getting so upset whenever you would borrow my clothes. Like that's such a sibling thing.
Totally, totally. So our final question for this episode is, what would you have wanted to hear from our mother.
Oh, if I could just hear her voice today. It's been 23 years since her passing. It feels like forever ago. And it would be, uh, it would be truly something. I wish the technology was different back then because I think we would have had a whole slew of videos to kind of look back on, see her and hear that voice and her laugh and just all of that. Unfortunately, we didn't have that luxury back then, right? Where there was camcorders, we couldn't afford all that. So, anyway, I wanted to just throw that out there. I think what I would want her to say is, Nay, I know that behind your stubbornness and defiance, forgive me, Mom, there is character building happening. And I just know that you will use that one day to do so much good on this earth and so much great stuff with your life. And even when you have your own family, you're going to be an amazing mother. And even though you didn't have that example of a full family together, you had love because I love you so much. And you're going to pour that right into your family, into your kids. And make use of it. Capitalize on it. And make me proud, Mama. I could hear her saying those words to me. It warms my heart. And for those out there who still have your mom and dad, I encourage you not to take days for granted, time for granted, because at any given time, and I know it's said, but I want you to know it's so true that they could be gone at any moment. And just the simple things of a laugh, a sneeze, a scent will be missed beyond measure. And so I encourage you to value every moment you have with those that you love, because it is the most valuable thing on earth. It's what money cannot buy. It's what true happiness is. So love on that person. Call them right now. Send them a message of encouragement. Take time out of your busy schedule. I don't want to hear you're too busy. You can't do that. You can't go see them. Pay them a visit for 5-10 minutes. That's all it takes. You never know when they'll be gone. So capitalize on the time. I love you, sister. Don't be crying on
I
me and then
know
make
you
me
got me
cry. Then I'm
emotional.
gonna look like a raccoon. Don't be doing that. Oh my gosh. So does this wrap up episode 2?
This is the wrap. After
That's
you made me
awesome.
cry, yes, we done.
That was a good way to end it. Well, I'm
Yes.
really enjoying this with you, sister, and there's no one better than to do this with than you, because I mean, you were with me along my childhood, along that journey. You're currently with me in this role as a CEO, and you've just seen it, every part of me. And so I love doing this with you, and I'm so grateful to have you by my side.
Thank you, sister. I love doing this with you. Mwah.
Mwah. But wait. Before we go, this is so new for us, and we really want to continue to spread the word and impact lives. I hope and pray that this story of mine doesn't go in vain. That it doesn't go with void. That it truly impacts lives of those watching in one way, shape, or form. And in order to be able to spread the word, we have to ask, right? We need to ask for support. And I have no problems in doing that. I used to have a problem asking for help back in the day. But I've learned that that is such a crippling place to be. And so I want to make the big ask. I want you to help us spread the word by giving us a 5-star rating. This is new for us. And your love, support would really take this far. It's the only way that we would be able to spread the word. So please leave a 5-star rating. Follow us. Follow me on Instagram. DM me questions. DM me next topics. DM me anything that you want to DM. Put it in a message. My Instagram is Nadine Ramos _Lacio. So follow me on Instagram. Ty, do you want to leave your Instagram?
Yes, mine is Taina, Taina 323.
Perfect. And if you're an Apple listener, right, make sure you leave a comment. That will take us to another level. And we cannot do this unless you continue to watch, unless you continue to support. So please do exactly that. Help us to continue to do what we're doing. It means the world to us. And until next time, we'll see you soon. God bless you all. Thank you. Bye, sister.
Bye.